Hey y'all. Hey everybody. Mickey, what's up, sis? Buttons all day. What's up, sis? What's up, Erica? Mo14. Hey everybody. So I just thought I'd go live for a little bit. I'm not trying to be too long because y'all, I ate some dinner tonight and for some reason it just made my stomach so sick, but I'm like, I don't know if it's like a sick thing or it's just like I just like ate too much and it's just my stomach is just like can't like hold it all because it's not enough room in there. I don't know, but I was just like, oh my god, I can't do it. I just wanted to lay down, but girl, I ate some mac and cheese, and usually it it goes well. Like I don't get sick off of eating mac and cheese, but tonight I just got like super sick and I'm just like, yeah, no, I cannot do it. Hey Rokisha, hey sis, hey Treese. Girl, I think she did hit the 5K. I think Erica did hit the 5K today. Congratulations again, Erica, for hitting that 5K. That's what XO gang's on. We're trying to hit that 5K, 10K, 20K, so on. I'm really trying to hit 3K, but like I said, I know it's gonna take a little minute. I've been on YouTube for a little over a year, so I feel like I haven't made that much progress. Well, not as much as I wanted to, but I know we're gonna get there. Y'all gotta just keep making sure you comment, like, subscribe, everything. Show love, share the videos. Y'all know. Girl, I think it'll say you go live every day, so I don't see why I wouldn't. Yeah, Erica, you go live every day. And see, that's my problem. Like, I don't have the energy to go live every day. So that's another thing. Um, I don't, as much as I love YouTube, I just feel like I don't always have like the motivation to go live and, you know, um, I don't always have the motivation I should. I think it's not because like I don't want to do YouTube. It's just because I just be so tired by the time the night ends. And I just don't have time to go live all day like other people. So, just by the time night time comes, I always tell y'all I just be so tired. And my husband works all day, so I like to spend time with him. And, I'm just like, yeah, you know what? I'm not going live tonight. I'll go live another night. Like, just like this live. Like, I was supposed to have been to this live like 2, 3 days ago. And I'm just like sitting in bed and I'm just like, you know what? Let me go live because I've been saying I'm going to go and I haven't gone yet. Yeah, it is a heavily saturated sector. So 2K in a year is great. Yeah, thank y'all. Yeah, it is a saturated sector. And, I know there's a few reactors like TMR and all them, they do pretty good. But like I said, then again, they are very, very consistent and, probably have a little bit better content than I do. And that's another thing. I just feel like I could do a little bit better with my content, but I'm getting there and um we will get there, y'all. YouTube's not my only thing I want to do neither. Like I want to, and I even like this whole mommy sector thing too. Like it's not the only thing I want to do. I feel like I'm never gonna truly grow if I just keep doing the whole mom sector thing. So you know one day, but don't let the moms fool you. It took years to hit where they're at. Oh yeah, I know, sis. It definitely did. Um, sis, eat a lemon or lime with some apple cider. Oh my god, that sounds so disgusting. Oh my god, I hate lemon, lime, and apple cider vinegar. I hate salt. So oh my god, that sounds terrible, but I'll try it. Hey sis, hey Southside, hey love. So y'all, I'm not gonna make this live too long. Literally, I'm trying to do like under 30 minutes because I just had to come live because first of all, I know, I really try not to talk about Liv because she just really has nothing going on. Like that that I feel is worthy of even talking about. I mean, it's been the same thing with this girl for, months, years. Hey Shara, hey love. I don't know if I said your name right. My bad if I did said it wrong. All right, sis, I'll try that. Thank you. So yeah, I didn't want to go to I just honestly I really just been trying to, get away from talking about Liv so much. The last 9 months when she was pregnant, I feel like the whole sector just talked about her so much. This whole, we all heard about it before time and time again. This whole thing where people were just trying to figure out, like, is this girl pregnant? Is she not pregnant? Like, it was just a whole thing. And I feel like I did so much content on that for so long that it's just like now I'm just like, you know what? I really, Shara, I said Shara. I know it was Shara, but I'm like, you know what? Let me just go with the first thing that popped up, that popped up in my head. But my bad, sis. Hey Reppin, hey Love, hey Sean J, hey Britt, hey Love. Um, so yeah, I feel like it was so repetitive with her, and now that she's had the kids gone for a while. Um, I mean, she's had the kids gone for almost like a year now. I mean, coming up near Christmas, it'll be like a year. Hey Joelle, hey love. Coming up coming up on yeah, like near Christmas. Christmas time last year is when they left for good and they were living with Gerard. So it's been quite a while. And honestly, I really thought that she would have accomplished so much more since for the kids being gone, not having babies, not, doing any of that, but just literally just really like changing her life around, getting her life together, just like stopping caring about men and just did a whole 180, and I'm not going to say because I expected that from her because we all know that Liv is just probably one of the most irresponsible, just does not care, very enabled and just, especially by her mother. I didn't think she would like do too much, but for the sake of her kids being gone, I really thought, a lot of mothers would do everything they can to get better so, their kids could have or they could get their kids back and, get into the whole motion of having their kids back and showing, proving to people that she is the mother that she claims to be. And it's just like I have not seen that at all. If anything, I feel like I've seen her get worse. Like I said, very immature acting, very just, nonchalant about everything. Um, and she's still living, in her lies of that she has this other baby daddy, which we all know who the true baby's father of is that baby. I mean, it really kills me at the fact that she blows that baby off so hard just so she can not have to answer about, like who her father's child is. Like, and it really hit me that she is very immature. And it really hit me that she hides this baby father so bad when y'all remember a few lives ago or a few months back when Christian had asked her who the baby's father was. Hey Yana mama, hey sis, I know this live's gonna be fire, girl. I'm not trying to be on here too long, but thanks love. So y'all know it was really real when Christian had asked her, like, who is the father of this baby? And the fact that you have three kids over there that are just like wondering, like, who the father of this child is just like so weird. Like, I know them kids have to wonder, like, how did this baby get here? Like, she's not, kids wonder about that stuff. I think Robin and Christian are definitely old enough to understand, like, what The whole thing over there. But it just really showed that like this girl tries to push this baby to the side so hard so she does not have to, answer or spill the beans of, any, just any existence of this child's father. And, just off of that, I really don't understand how a mother can just, like I never see this baby with her like in recent vlogs and a lot of her, and I know she hides him because she doesn't want anybody seeing the baby, but even like when she's out in these lives and she's doing these lives in the car, um like it's just like, where is your child at? Like, I think at this point nobody does care about the baby because she doesn't bother to show him. But it really does make you wonder, like, okay, is your mother, Stella, just home watching this baby all the time? Like, sis, when are you ever home with your baby? Like, where do you take your baby anywhere? Do you, like, I think, like I said, we are all over the whole trying to see him and, trying to see if he looks like Zolo or find out the baby's father. Like, we don't really care about that anymore at this point. But like, I guess now she's trying to do this whole rebrand of herself as like, this very positive Bible reading type mother who does everything right and wants to live her life right now. Like, sis, yeah, you are 32, you're still early, you can still, change your life around, but I just think it's a little bit too late for that. Like, everybody knows you as the hoe that, slept with multiple men, that brings multiple men around your children, that, you just basically, meet dudes at Little Caesars and bring them home and have sex with them the next hour. Like, everybody knows you as that person. So the fact that now she's trying to rebrand herself as in this woman who is so godly and, try to be a motivational speaker to people, like, sis, no, it nobody cares. And you may fool, your loyalty gang over there, but you're not fooling the people, the reactors and the people who really have been following you for years. um she's so excited to have one baby. That's Stella's baby girl. Exactly. Like, I just, and the thing is, you would think, Stella is older. I doubt Stella is any less than like 50, 60 years old. The fact that she would want to spend her last years, like, just, watching a child like that, and, being cooped up in an apartment watching a baby for a woman that just will not grow up, will not take the responsibility of being the fact that she had yet another child. It really just mind blows me. Like, her and Jazzy, like, just, has these babies and just wants no responsibility to do anything for them, provide good fathers for these babies, like nothing, just has them, and just, everybody else has to provide and figure it out. So it's just so strange to me. Like, I really don't I really don't understand how these mothers just continue to enable their daughters so hard. I know, like, mothers, some mothers, they never get over that, like, oh, this is my baby, like, I'm, but, that only hurts your child in the long run, especially when they are of age. They're 30 plus years old, and they decide to lay down and spread their legs and have these babies over and over again. I don't understand why you would even condone, um trying to literally just, sit around and raise these kids. Now, I will say that Jazzy's mother does not take care of her kids, but, as far as Jazzy having her mom sign for the apartment, or, help her put a deposit down on something, or put a car in her name, or put a phone in her name, it's just like, sis, you are 30 plus years old with five kids at this point. Like, why is your mother still doing these things? These are the things that you do with a man, and that's the problem. Like, these girls don't have men, so, it all falls on their mothers, and their mothers don't have no men, so it falls, they're willing to do it. So it's just a cycle that, it just goes and goes and goes. And it just, it's almost like such a big sight. Like, it's just so, a snowball that just it just keeps on snowballing, and and blows up into these girls have more babies that they can't take care of, that they need their mothers. And I'm not saying that it like it's a sin for grandmothers and grandfathers, and family to help out with kids, but at the end of the day, I really do strongly feel like grandmothers are only there to do the extras, like maybe to buy them a toy or take them to the park or do something like that. Like, I really don't think it's solely, a grandmother or grandfather's responsibility to make sure your kids have school supplies or make sure that they're home watching your kids while you go out with another man or with a drink or go on a trip. Like, those are extra, luxury things that I guess if they want to do, they do, but I just don't think that that's a requirement, or and maybe my thinking is different because I don't have a parents, or and especially a mother that will do those type things for me and my children. But then again, I do have a man, I have a husband who does for my baby, so we don't have to ask people to make sure our kids are clothed or make sure they buy our kids clothes or toys, or pay for this and pay for that. Like, my husband makes sure that he has that on his own. So it really just continues to amaze me at the fact that these girls just end up in these same situations and just seem to really not care that like that they are 31, 32 years old and still have to ask mommy to do all these things for them. Hey Kayla, hey love. Jazz said her mom still pays for her TV services. Imagine that, 5 kids in a home, man. If I was Cheryl, I'm not paying. And it's exactly. And like, where does Cheryl get all this money? Because it seems to me like Cheryl doesn't really have as much money her damn self. So where is her mom getting all this money to help her with deposits and help with the kids and pay this and pay that? I don't understand. Just like Stella. I mean, I truly think Stella is broke herself too. I don't think Stella has any money. I don't even think she works. I mean, she may work from home, but I just think that I think that Liv primarily pays for everything there, but she watches the kids. She watches the babies. She, cooks whatever Liv brings home. I don't think that she, contributes financially as much as, Jazzy's mom does, because Jazzy's mom does have a job. Um, so Liv has been talking about, well, she did point out the fact that somebody asked her was she having more kids, and she basically told people to mind their business, that they're not in her ovaries, that they don't, that's not something that they need to worry about. And I will say that I really do not understand how she's even still considering yet another child when that'll be her third baby father, because we know that Liv is not having another baby with Zolo. So I really just don't understand how um this girl could even consider really having another child. But that's on her. She doesn't even have barely custody as it is, as for her 3 kids that she has now. I mean, I don't know if it'll continue on, or like she sees them twice a year and then I don't know. I don't really, she doesn't speak on it. Gerard doesn't speak on it. So who is to know what really is the agreement over there? I know they're due back in court, but she also went on to say that she is going to school. And a lot of people were like, and somewhere I saw that she showed her GED. And I'm just like, where is this GED? I didn't end up seeing a picture of the GED, but I know that she supposedly said that she's going to tattoo school and trying to become a tattoo artist or whatever. And um I will say, like, that's very strange. Like, why would you wait this long to do something like that? Like, why wouldn't you've done that when you were pregnant, or why wouldn't you done that before you had another baby? I don't understand, like, what is the point now? um and we all know that Liv doesn't follow through with anything. Like, sis is not gonna I don't think that's gonna last. I don't think that she will finish out school in any type, form. I think she's so used to now just sitting around doing her YouTube, trying to scrounge up, I guess, enough views for the month to pay her bills and pay her child support and do. I just don't think that she is fully dedicated to that. I think it's all talk. Yet again, I mean, she, finds any way possible to try to make herself seem like she's more important and doing more than what, we all know that Liv doesn't do anything with her life. She never has. If it's not about getting her nails done or screwing a man or um something of that sort, sister's just not, she doesn't want to do it, and she won't do it. Won't even do anything, for her kids really. She was on live today bragging about how she spent $100 on her nails, and it's just like, sis, how do you brag about, paying $100 for your nails and you don't even buy your kids anything? Like, I don't believe that she sent them home with any school clothes, or she didn't get their hair done before they left, or I didn't see any shopping. All I saw was her going out taking them out to eat. It's just like, where is the money for your kids at? It seems like she's always getting a new tattoo, a new piercing. She stays with her nails done, she stays with makeup and stuff for herself, but it's like, where's the stuff for your kids at? Like, these mothers are just so selfish. And it really makes me wonder, like, how could you have four, five, six, even nine kids, and you can just be so selfish? Like, I, would put my last penny to my children and make sure they have the best, or they go here, or they wear this, or they do that. Like, how can you just be so selfish with kids? Having kids, especially kids that you only see 2 to 3 times a year now, if that. I mean, it's pretty pathetic, like, all the, and I seen her whole birthday thing for Ryan, and it's just like, I really do feel like she bought her tons of gifts to make up for the fact that she did nothing else for her. I mean, all them birthday gifts she gave Ryan is just so unnecessary, especially for a birthday. We usually go all out, kind of, and we get, I know, I mean, my kids are 1 and 3, so we haven't had too many birthdays. But I know, just like this past birthday, like, we get like two big gifts and like three medium to small size gifts, and I think about like 5 gifts is enough. But the fact that, like, she bought like 12 gifts for this girl's birthday and just didn't do anything else, like, I'm pretty sure that your daughter probably would have had to, uh or one I'm pretty sure Ryan would have wanted you to take her somewhere, Disney World, a huge water park or resort, or a play place. I feel like that is so lazy. Like, everything with her children are just is so thrown together, and she wants to be mother of the year. Like, where is the thought in anything for your kids, especially kids that you see twice, 2 3 times a year? You would just think that she would go all out, and it's just like, there's nothing. And she has money, like I said. She gets her nails done faithfully every week or 2 weeks. She gets her piercings, her tattoos, her clothes, her makeup, her bags, her food. She makes sure she does for herself. But when it comes to those kids, it's just like, everything is just so thrown together. And it's her and Jazzy. Like, everything, there's no thought into anything. And I'm just like, you try to portray something that you're not, and we see right through it. Like, these girls act like we don't see their vlogs, we don't see, their lives. Like, we don't see, this. I mean, this is not stuff that we just see over the internet. This is stuff we see every day. Even some of our family members are like these people that we see on here. It's not like it's just them doing it, or we've never seen it before, or we're just trying to, because us as reactors, I mean, I can only speak for myself, but we react to what we see. I don't think that reactors try to um make up things on these girls and try to sabotage their channels. And if anything, I think the reactors help the channels. I don't think that they do anything to try to sabotage and try to get these channels going and make up lies and talk about kids and Reactors don't do that. I know myself, I don't. I mean, I stick to what I see, to what I know, to what I've heard, and nothing more. I don't speak on kids. I may talk about what the mothers are doing for these kids, but I never come out and say anybody child's ugly or they're dirty or they don't have. I mean, I may say that, the mother is not bathing the child because at the end of the day, we're all grown. Do we really have to say that, oh, I'm not talking about the child, but I'm talking, we all know that we're talking about these mothers that are responsible for these children, because at the end of the day these children are not responsible and able to do some of these things on their own. So obviously we're not talking about the kids. Okay, I mean, nobody's, that's, I mean, like I said, I can't speak for other reactors, but I know me, I would never speak on a child, because I know if somebody spoke on my child, I will go off. I mean, that's any mother. But I do think that these mothers do exploit these kids. I do think that, um, I do think that they exploit these kids. I think they use them for content, because if they didn't, I mean, what else really would they have going on? I mean, none of these girls do anything on their downtime. They don't have any hobbies, extra businesses, no, nothing going on. And, a lot of these YouTubers, they, use the money from these channels and they, create businesses on the side. So therefore, when the channel does die down and they have no more channel, they have something to fall back on. A lot of these people have kids, and to just rely on just a YouTube channel to forever take care of your family is just crazy to me. I don't There's too much money in this world to be made. There's too many, opportunities for your own business, and, just just anything. There's too many other opportunities to just be, trying to hang on to a channel and try to make that your lifelong, money maker. It'll never happen. And these girls have a rude awakening, when they turn 50, 60 years old and they have no other income coming in but YouTube, and YouTube is done. YouTube is just like these singers and rappers out here. You do have a lot of people that do stay, and they do get popular, and um they stick around for a while. All the old school people we never stop listening to. But a lot of the times these channels die down, people stop watching, and people look for the new hottest thing that's out, the new youngest thing that's out, and these girls won't be it. Like I said, I mean, reactors have been keeping these girls afloat for probably longer than they should have. Of course these girls will always have their personal, they'll always have their personal people that watch, that are obsessed and support, just support, because they're so blinded they see nothing wrong with, what these girls are doing. And I don't know what type of mothers these girls are themselves. So, they're supporters to be supporting women who neglect their children and are selfish and are, just hoes, and just really just give no care in the world about like anything else but their, getting their little coochie wet, and getting some money in their pocket to go out and do them. I don't Yeah, YouTube doesn't have a 401k, so they better start. Yeah, and they, hey Myra, hey sis. um yeah, they need to start investing their money. They be living this YouTube page. Yeah, yeah, I know. And because they're lazy. I mean, wouldn't you, if you just, I'm sure a lot of people, even reactors would probably love to, make a decent check to where you can just sit on your butt all day and you don't have to do anything. But, everything that's good comes to an end, and, it will. Yeah, SSI checks for all six of them, girl. I They aren't planning for the future. All these kids they keep having, girl. I would be scared. Especially the fact that none of these girls can hold a man. Because I will say, like, okay, well, sis, if it ain't coming from one way, it's got to come from the other. And none of these girls can hold a man to, take care of them or their kids. So, I don't know what these girls will do when all their kids are in high school and and they need cars and they need clothes. I mean, the name brand clothes, and be sent to college or trade school, and they don't. No, I don't know what, especially Jazzy. I don't know what they will do. But they better figure something out, because like I said, it definitely will come to an end. And that's scary for, them kids to just have parents, mothers that just rely on a YouTube check and they have nothing else planned out for these kids. Like, I'm sure none of these girls have life insurances. I'm sure none of these girls have accounts set up for these kids to go to college and get cars and none of that. I mean, all they do is just live paycheck to paycheck, food stamps, everything else, and rely on family and barely get by. I don't, but then they come on here and try to act like, oh, you broke bees are talking about us and you're mad and you're jealous. And no, sis, I wouldn't be, I'm not jealous at all. I don't, in fact, I would be scared if I were you, especially being that most of them are all single mothers. None of them have, any of the fathers in the home that they had their, first few kids by, nothing. I mean, you have no nothing backed up for you, you know? Um, you don't have no, life insurance. You don't have no bank account set up with money. You don't have no side businesses. You don't have real estate. You don't have anything. So what really are we mad about? The fact that, we're mad at the fact that we can't sit home all day on our butt and barely get by and have no money, planned out for the future for our kids and ourselves. I'm not, I'm not one bit mad about that. And I never will be. If it ever came to where I was by myself, I would want something that is a lifetime, a lifetime of a long term thing that can make me money for my babies, and they could have parts of it when I die, when I'm older, and real estate businesses, things like that. That's my goal. My goal is not to create this YouTube channel so my kids and uh my kids and their kids can live off and take parts of it and make money off this is nothing. YouTube could stop paying. I truly do think that at some point YouTube will stop paying or stop paying as much as they do. So I'll be scared about that too. This world is so crazy that things come and go. These anything could happen. To sit here and just think that, oh, this is a long-term life term thing. I just know when my mom passed, my older sister didn't know what to do. It was sad. Oh wow, that's terrible. But when it came to me and my mom wouldn't watch my kids, just my sister's kids. I had no free time, just my older sister. Yeah, it happens like that, sis. It really does. I mean, um, yeah, I mean, my mother, like I said, we don't have the best of relationships, and she doesn't really, do for my kids neither. But that's not for me to worry about because I now have kids of my own that I'm worried about, making a great life for them so they can live carefree and have businesses and things that they can, take hold of and carry on. And, I can be there for them, have the freedom to have businesses to where I can be there for them and, watch their babies and, do all the things that I didn't get to do or I didn't get to have from, my own mother. But they had them for the government benefits, not love. They're not, nurturers. Yeah, exactly. Southside butterfly. I totally agree. My mom raised me and my sister to be self-sufficient so that if she passed, we will be able to take care of ourselves. And that's how I raised my kids. And I totally agree, Treese. That's the way. That's the way to do it. That's the way it should. Um, um, I'm A1 day one boo for you to admit that you were so amazing. Seriously, I remember when you kept it 3,000 mothers. Yeah, girl. I don't really come on here. As much I don't like tell my whole life story, and I don't really tell y'all every single thing, and I don't do any of that, but I am real about some things, and not like some things like, oh, I lie about other things, but um like I don't come out and say certain things about my life and what goes on and tell all my business because I just feel like this is YouTube. Like, this is not, you don't need to tell all your business on here, but I try to, tell you guys as much as I can to where like I'm not telling all my business. I'm a private person in general. I don't really have social media like that. I mean, I have Instagram and Facebook, but I don't use Facebook. I don't use, in fact, the only reason I use Facebook for is like I have tons of mom groups, pregnancy groups that I've been in, And I use Instagram to just see what people are doing. But as far as like going into me, and I don't do any of that. I don't post my kids. I don't really post me, my husband. I don't really, I try to keep very private with stuff I have going on. And not that it's like anything to be private about, but I just like it that way. I just feel like I don't like people knowing, my whole life and what my kids are doing and what my man's doing. I just don't, um, I've tried to come on here and tell y'all a little bit about my life and what, y'all, if you, like I said, I always tell y'all, if I were to tell the whole story, y'all would be like, wow. But, I have two daughters. You should know. Oh yeah, girl. I don't know how some mothers are jealous of their daughters. It's a very sick thing. I would never be, jealous of my daughters. And if anything, I want my daughters to be, way more than I'll ever be. I don't, even if I had all the money in the world, I would still want my daughters to have more. I don't, I want my babies are a reflection of me. So if they are great, you know, I feel like, that would, you know, just relate and represent me almost. I don't, I always want my kids to do 20 times better than I ever will or will be. I don't, that should just, boy, girl, whoever, whatever child you have, that should always be the goal. If I own 10 businesses, I want my daughters to own 20. Like, if I have, um, you know, 20 million in the bank, I want my daughters to have 100. Like, I always want more. So, you just, as a parent, when you have that mindset, I think kids do go further versus parents who just, rather focus their mind on everything else. But, and that's Jazzy and Liv. They don't, their mind is so somewhere else and so self-centered that they just don't realize how much they hurt their kids. But, as far as Gerard, I think Gerard does have a good head on his shoulders and true intentions for, his kids. And I really do think that just off of Gerard, his kids will go very far. I mean, I can say that if they were with Liv, like permanently, primarily, I don't think the kids will be doing half as good as they are now. I mean, you guys saw on Instagram today, Christian just started his first scrimmage for football. So, it's good that he's getting them out there and doing things and making friends and getting connections and doing sports and it's great when you have the other parent that is just, on that track. Um Hey Chelsea, hey love, hope you're doing well. Hope baby is girl. We got 2 more weeks left. 2 more weeks, y'all. And that's another thing I wanted to say real quick. Pregnancy update. They moved my update. I mean, they moved my update. They moved my due date up a week earlier. So I will be having baby girl in 2 weeks instead of 3 weeks. All it takes is determination to be a good parent. Oh yeah, exactly. Nobody's perfect, nobody will ever be, but it definitely does take determination, being a good parent, and wanting the best for your kids and, having that, standard and having no less for your children. Um, yeah, I do wish anyone would save Jasmine's children like Gerard did for his babies. Exactly. And I really feel like that's what those kids need. It's just it's so sad that, nobody's advocating for them kids, and you know, it will hurt them in the long run. But I really do hope that despite them not having the support that, Liv's kids may have, I still hope that they go far, because I don't wish, bad on anybody or any child to fail or, um anything. I don't, that's terrible. And I do feel like kids who don't have that advocate or that, person to really fight for them and lead them, I do think it's a difference between kids who do have that support and that person there. But you know hey Nicole, hey sis. Hey, countdown. I'm praying for a safe and healthy and mentally happy labor delivery. Make sure you tell them exactly what you want and what you need, and don't take no for an answer. Oh yeah, girl. It kind of sucks because I do have a C-section. they said that if I were to go into labor on my own before then, that I could advocate for a trial of labor. But, most likely I will be going in just for the C-section. So, I mean, I don't know if you ever had one, but you know how that goes. So, it sucks. But as long as baby gets here healthy and, everything, I make it out healthy. That's all I care about. But thank you so much, love. Yes, definitely countdown now. 2 weeks, definitely a countdown. And I'm sad. I'm really sad that I'm not gonna be pregnant anymore. I'm one of those girls that, as much as like pregnancy is so stressful in your body, I love being pregnant. I love feeling the kicks and feeling them move and, just the whole process. I love it. But I don't know. I don't know if I'll be having any more, it's like something that me and my husband have to kind of talk about and agree on. Because it's a lot. Like I said, I had my babies kind of close, so it's hard on me too. I don't have as much help, so and my husband, he works. I mean, he's always yeah, they get older. Thank you, Nicole. Thanks, sis. I know she is already just the cutest. Um, However, baby gets here, as long as she's healthy and happy, that's what matters. Exactly, Chelsea. That's all I care about. As long as she's happy and healthy, that's all I care about. Um, hey Mo, hey sis. No, no, Nicole, I'm not getting my tubes tied. They asked me like 3 or 4 times. I'm like, no, I had to tell these people, like, no, I'm not getting my tubes tied. Me and my husband haven't decided yet. He wants like two more or one more, and I want one more. I was like, no, I'm not doing 5 kids. I'm not, no way, no how, no nothing. I'm not having 5 kids. But he definitely does want one more, but I don't it's something, like I said, we're just gonna talk about and go, go with the flow with, and maybe a year or two. I don't want to wait too long, because I'm like, you know what, if I don't have another one in the next year or two, then I'm just gonna be done with it. But I'll be like 28, so that's when I plan to be done anyway. But um yeah, definitely not get my tubes tied yet. As fertile as I am, I probably should, or even honestly, Nicole, it's me who wants the boy more. Like, honestly, I think my husband, like, he would just be done now. And just, if I were to say, like, babe, I'm truly, truly done and I don't want no more, he probably would just be like, all right, that's fine. I don't, he's really set on, he doesn't have to have his boy, but I'm the one that is persistent to have a boy. Like, I want a boy. I have to have a boy. So, I don't know. He's the first man that I ever like seen that is not really pressed at for a boy. Like, I'm more pressed for the boy than he is. Um I'm thinking about a tubal due to my heart problem and I can't risk anymore. We're gonna be a 1 kid family. Girl, yeah, hey TMR, hey sis. I loved your live earlier. Um yeah, this time around I've been having a little bit more complications. Like, um I don't like I had to, because last time I went in for my prenatal appointment, and I don't know, I'm gonna share this and then I'm gonna close the live out. I kind of want another one. I have 3 sons, but I'm so scared it's gonna girl, and I'm scared it's gonna be another girl. 3 girls. I'm like, if I get another girl, I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do. Um, but last time I went into my appointment, and this is like my most recent prenatal appointment, my heart rate was like 130 and I was sitting down for like 2 hours, because the whole appointment was like 2 hours. And when I walked in, it was like 120 and then it went up to 130. And every time I've been going in, I've been having like these high heart rates and they don't go down. So, um, and my doctor was like, I'm going to get your thyroid checked because, and I didn't know, like, I don't know if that has something to do with like a heart ish, like something like with your heart or, whatever. Um, so I don't know if it's like due to pregnancy or if it's like normal, but I looked it up and um I don't think that your heart rate should be that high, especially sitting for like 2 hours. And I can feel my heart beating so fast. So, I don't like want it to be something more and turn into like a heart issue. Um, that means you have a white coat syndrome when you go into the doctor's office and stuff starts to act up. Girl, I don't like I said, I don't thank you, sis. That pregnancy sounds like it's getting used to TMR. Since you hear me over here huffing and puffing and I can barely talk. I'm out of breath and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm all here all messed up. But yeah, it is, towards this time, yeah, I just be I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. Um I can't I'm out of breath now. I always have that every time I go to the doctor, my blood pressure is elevated when they take it the first time, but then when you take it, it's fine. Yeah. They try to say I had high blood pressure, but girl, my blood pressure is fine every time I go in there. I had one high blood pressure and they try to make this big whole issue about blood pressure issues, and my blood pressure is fine every time I go in there. I don't have high blood pressure. Um I used girl, I don't know if it is that. It might be. But I got the blood work done, so hopefully it's nothing. I don't think it is, but um my pregnancy is what. Yeah, girl, I was listening into your live not too long ago about you explaining about that whole thing about your pregnancy and that heart failure thing. That is terrible. And that's so scary. That is so scary. Um I know somebody in my family, she has heart issues. She had to get a heart transplant and she could only have one child because her heart couldn't take it. She literally would probably die if she had another child. So I do know that that heart thing can definitely pregnancy and heart issues do not mix. So that is so sad. I'm so sorry to hear that too. I was like, I know when I was listening to that live, I'm like, oh my God, that's terrible. Um they asked me they had happened to me with my last baby. They asked me if I ran there. Girl, they asked me that too. They were like, did you walk to this appointment? I'm like, no. All I and the thing is, I don't walk upstairs. I don't go the OB is like right on the same floor I walk in at. And she was like, "Did you walk here?" And I'm like, "No, but I don't but I don't have high blood pressure though. My daughter's my twin. Um who my daughter's my twin and she's my baby. We talk every day and I love her dearly. Oh, yeah. I love my babies though. I love having girls. I really do. People are always like, "Oh, I don't want no girls." Oh, I don't want, but I love my babies. I know it'll be hard when they get older. Girls have their attitudes and they do that. But as long as you really try to understand them and be there for them, I don't really think it's that hard having girls. Me either. Neither. Never had a high beat. Yeah, I don't have high blood pressure. I don't get high blood, like every time I go in there my blood pressure is like perfect. I have but high blood pressure definitely does run on my mom's side of the family. The ambulance had to come for my sister. She had fluid next to her heart. She gave birth the same day. Oh my God, it's terrible. That's scary. Yeah, they said no more unless I get a transplant with all Alexa's stuff. It's good he's our only one. Yeah, and I understand your son's situation, and that would be so hard. Probably to add another one. I mean, if you can do it, I would do it. I wouldn't just let that stop you from having another one. But I would definitely get that heart issue taken care of before you have another one because, yeah, pregnancy is very hard on you alone, and then to have a heart issue, that's like a whole other thing. I don't, I wouldn't wish that on anybody, and I would be so scared, like giving birth and having a heart issue. I would like be scared my heart's gonna stop or something. You never know, but that's terrible. But yeah, the girl in my family, she had a transplant and they still told her she couldn't have another one, that she had to be done. She wasn't even supposed to have the one that she did have. And she still had her one, but she hasn't had any more since then, her first one. Yeah, girl, they do. They always want some, always whining, always getting smart, always like just snapping about something. Always, always, always. That's a girl for you, though. That is a girl. But y'all, I am out of breath, and I'm gonna go lay down with my baby and just, take it down for the night. I um, I just wanted to go live and just talk to you guys. I really didn't talk about what I wanted to, but I got another conversation. But I'll go live tomorrow. Y'all don't hold me to it, but I'll go live tomorrow and we'll kind of, get into the whole thing. I wanted to talk about Jazzy's live tonight because that was crazy. That whole cooking live she did, that was pathetic as hell. I wanted to talk about that, but we'll talk about it tomorrow. I'll do a video on it. Um, Adoption is always an option though too. Yeah, you know what? Me personally, if I couldn't have kids, I would never adopt just because, I just feel like I would never have the love for that child like I would my own. And number two, I heard it is just like so hard to adopt. I heard it's like so hard to like hold on, y'all. My bad, y'all. When I hear my baby, I be on it. I'm like, yeah, what's going on? Girl, that live was a mess. She will be here soon, love. Get some rest, girl. I know. Um, whew. Thanks, Chelsea. See you, sis. I'll talk to you. Thank you for joining in. Thank you, everybody, for joining in. Like I said, I'm gonna go lay down with hubby, get me some rest, and I will see y'all tomorrow for a video or a live. I was supposed to do the virtual baby shower today, but I just couldn't do it because I got caught up with my babies, and then something else had happened, and I'm just like, I didn't really get too many members join, and then I'm like, what should I do, regular live or members only, because I did have a few people join for the specific baby shower. So if you guys still want to buy something, you guys can. If not, it's fine. I still appreciate and love all of you just for supporting the channel. I'll update you guys. I might just do it tomorrow early since it's Saturday, the weekend, but I'll let you guys know. But thank you guys so much. I love all of y'all. I hope you guys have a great weekend, a great Friday. Stay safe, and I will talk to y'all on the next one. Yep. Thank you, Mo14 sis. I'll talk to you. Thank you guys. Good night.